Most of you know Michael Kwast. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, Michael is, not only is he a superstar practitioner and probably one of the best communicators that we have in our industry, but Michael comes up with all these really cool ways to say things. And I like to have him at almost each and every one of our seminars, not just for that, and not just because we smoke cigars and have fun. It's that he's at a level in his practice that most people are not. He takes more time off than anybody I know, like 6-8 weeks at a time. He has 2 superstar practices, big high volume, and he always has. He's been a Pro Adjuster client for almost 20 years, and that's 90% of his treatment in his practice is Pro Adjuster. And so when he was telling me this explanation he had on hats, we both know the gentleman he got the idea from, who also worked for David Singer back many years ago. So I wanted Mike to be able to share this with you because it's a really cool analogy that ties into building a business and an organization that is putting the delegation principles in place. And so, Mike, if you're ready, I'll let you take over. Let's give Michael a round of applause.
I heard a lot of people say delegation. And I say that too. But there's something more than just saying it. You have to know what to delegate, when to delegate, how to delegate, who you're going to delegate to. And that becomes the challenge. Oftentimes I'll sit there and I know I got to delegate, but I don't know what to delegate because we like to control everything, right? And then you get busy because you're doing so many things. And so hats are like your job, right? They call it hats in the business world. What are some of the things you do in your job? So PRCA, so let's write PR on there. What's something else that we do?
Exams.
What was that?
Exams.
Yeah, so let's just say Chiro, right? You're doing the Chiro stuff. What are other things that you have to do?
Finances.
Accounting. So let's say accounting. So get this. So you got to go to school to get a degree to be a chiropractor. Did you know that there are actually degrees that people get to run businesses? What? What's the degree?
Entrepreneurship.
Business administration, there's MBA. So this is what's funny to me is chiropractors, and I consulted for David Singer for years. I've been to the school a couple times just this last year over at Palmer's speaking to students, and it's like what they're thinking is kind of off because it's like they're thinking that the business is the chiropractic hat, and that's not the thing. The thing is running the business, which I tell Mo all the time, it's crazy to me how many people will line up to learn how to do a little technique thing, but don't show up for the business stuff, which is what you need and where the problem's at every single time. Every single guy that I consulted on the phone for David Singer, and he would tell me his problems, the problem was never you need to be Activator 4 certified. It was never you got to walk counterclockwise with a magnet in your pocket around the patient to tell you if it's PSIS or left rotated sacrum. That's never the problem. What's the problem? The business stuff, everything we've been talking about today. So what else you got? What? Magic? Managing. Yes, managing. So hiring, firing. So HR, we'll just say HR, right?
Sometimes I like to do the recalls on patients that maybe have dropped out or disappeared that need.
Yeah, so you got like front desk. We have all our different therapies, right? We could list out all the different therapies that you have, that you're doing. What else are you doing? I mean, think about what do you do? So like when you were talking about, well, I work 12 hours. My first thought was, what are you doing in the 12 hours? Are you talking about, now a chiropractor says, what is a chiropractor doing in the 12 hours?
Adjusting.
They're adjusting people and doing exams. I'm thinking in 12 hours, I'm calling people in the chamber, setting up different events. I'm going out into the community, going to get on the board of the YMCA so that I can have influence and talk to people about all these things. So it's like there's a difference between what you're doing in that 12 hours. And then you have to know, so then you go, oh, well, you just delegate. But if you don't even know those are things to do, you're not even going to have them on your list to delegate. And then you're like, well, what do I delegate? So what else are you doing? Part of what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get you to tell me what you're doing day in and day out so we can get a list, because I want you to see what you're doing. IT, good one. IT. How about online marketing? I know guys that sit there for hours posting stuff on Facebook. What are you doing all day? I'm really busy. What are you doing? On Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right?
Let's see that again, Mike?
I don't want to pull nothing. What else are you doing? See, you can't even tell me what you're doing. So there's the number one problem. If you can't even tell me what you're doing and you're telling me you're busy,
Mike, notes
Oh.
is what they're all saying.
notes,
Notes.
Collections.
collecting. You going over to their house in the car, pulling up. What else are you doing? But I want you to realize this, because this is what I realized. Even just 2 days ago, I'm sitting, what? Cleaning. I'm sitting there going, man, I got to do this. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I got all these people sitting around. Give it to them to do. And I told them, hey, go online, look up this, and this. Tell me what you find for this, and that. Let me know when you're done with it. Put a little note on the quad form, which the quad form is a magic thing. And so I don't forget. And then I leave it. And then the interesting thing is when you write it on the quad form and then you give it, what happens in here? So here's me just telling you to do it. But now do I trust you to do it? Not really, so it's still here. I got to check on him because he, I got to check on him. So my space is taken up by me thinking about that. But if I write it on the quad form and I put it on my table that I gave it to you, what happens to my space? It's free. And see, then now I don't feel busy. But if you have 10 undones sitting there of things that you even did a good job of delegating and you gave them to somebody, because they're undone, they sit in your head and they occupy the space, and then you can't do it. And sometimes you can't even sleep. One of the secrets to sleeping better is people will actually have a notebook by their bed and they write down everything they're thinking about, because they're thinking, I got to do this. Oh, don't forget to do that. And oh crap, I got to do this in the morning too, right? But if you write it all down, then it's like clear and it gets off your mind, and then all of a sudden you're in a relaxed state. So what else are you doing?
Letters of primary care.
Primary care?
Visits to analysis.
Yeah, so CEO analysis stuff, right? With your statistics. What else?
Listening to patients. Listening to patients.
Listening to patients. So like with objections, problems, handles, closing cases, interviewing them, asking them for referrals.
And after they get the treatment, they stay talking. No, it's not.
Casino Royale, they're talking to you too much after, right? So think about it though. What are you doing? You really got to like self-analyze this. And it's kind of painful, because the ones that you just said you were busy, I know, like everybody's mad at me because I just like tell you the truth. Sorry. But you're going to say you're busy, and then you're going to, when you try to write down everything you're doing and you get like 4 or 5 things in deep, you're going to go, what the hell am I doing? And it's probably not as much as you think. So what else?
Physiotherapies.
So the therapies, yep, we got therapies on there.
Okay, I missed the chiropractic one.
Chiropractic.
Answering emails?
Oh, the email trap, right? So that's another good one too. It can suck a lot of your time, especially if you're in the spam mode, reading all your stuff. So do we have like 8 gazillion things here? I mean, when you look at that, you're like, are you having a hard time? Like, really? You're busy? Yeah, so that's in the chiro part again. So here's part of the problem. So most of us and most of the students that I talked to the last few times I've been there, which there was hundreds of them, virtually all the guys that I consulted in the past and a lot of the people I talk to today, their number one hat that they're wearing, if you ask them, it's the chiropractor hat, right? Now here's the problem. If you only had to do the chiro hat, I can feel pretty good about this right now. Got my hat on, go out, I can even play golf in this thing, and pickleball. But here becomes the problem. Now I gotta wear this hat. This one says HR. So now I got a little bit more going on. And now I gotta wear my accounting hat, right? And now I gotta answer the phone at the front desk. And now I gotta do some PRCA work because we need more new patients. Do you see how you're feeling busy? Do you see how you're feeling overwhelmed? Doc, I can't get my computer to work. IT. Did you try turning it on? Now I got to go over and check my Facebook because we might have people coming in from my Facebook ads. And boy, I just don't have any time. And who left all these sticky notes on the ground? Because now I got to go clean. So now I got to do some cleaning. And who peed on the toilet seat? Damn it all. So now I'm in there. And don't forget, I got to write that letter to the primary care doctor. And now I got to remember, oh yeah, Mo said I had to do some stats so that I could tell him which my most profitable lane of service is. So that's another hat I got to do. And hey, can you come in here and adjust Mary? Because you're the only one that can get her low back to go. So now I'm doing that. And we need somebody to do the ProSoft. So can you come over and do that? And holy crap, I just got an email. I got to go check that. Here you are with all your hats. Is it any wonder? Tell me, is it any wonder why you feel busy?
That's definitely a new one.
Tell me. And can you walk around like this all day? I'm going to be getting tired. My neck's starting to get sore.
You got taller though.
Now, here's the thing. So then you go, well, what do I, number one, I feel busy because of this. Now, how do you know what to delegate? You just do this and you start looking. Now, there's a few things you could do. Mo, I remember at one time, he said you have somebody go through all your emails and get rid of all your junk before you even look at it. That was emails. So there's solutions, but there's different ways you can do this. Some of the guys that I talked to when I was consulting for David, they wanted to just do this, the chiro. And so I said, Scott, if you want to be the chiro and you want to go do that, that's fine. Let's hire a business manager and then they will run your business. There's people with MBAs that'll come out here and run this thing and it'll run like you never can make it run because you're not even trained to be an MBA, trained to be a chiro. Well, I don't want to give up control, right? Okay, good. Then you're going to be wearing all those on your head. It's an interesting phenom too. Like I had a lady the other day, funny things happen. She comes out and I was in the office and she goes, oh my gosh, are you a new guy? I've never seen you here before. And I went, yes, I'm the young new chiropractor. I had another one come out and she goes, oh my gosh, you're the guy in the videos. She goes, I thought that was just some guy making videos out on the West Coast making videos, and I thought that's what it was. I go, oh no, that's here. She goes, oh, interesting, right? So you, like Mo was saying, you want to build it so it's not about your personality. People need to come for your systems and processes of getting results so they can do that. The way you take the stress off and do more stuff is you eliminate the hats. I always recommend eliminate the ones you don't want to do. That's my first step. What do I really want to do? and what do I not want to do. So if I look at one of these things and I go, you know what, I really don't want to do the Facebook marketing. So then I will give that Facebook stuff to someone else, write it on the quad form so it goes bye-bye here so you don't stress about it. And then you have to have a system of checks and balances to make sure that they're actually doing their job. I personally don't get super excited about seeing patients for chiropractic adjustments because doing the adjustment is actually, in my opinion, the easiest thing to do. The hard part is making them see the value of the chiropractic adjustment and why they should be there. So I like to talk to them, but I would rather talk to them and have a doctor next to me do the adjustment and I can just talk. Just because after you do it for a while, it just is like, that's like the boring, easy part. The hard part's getting inside their head and figuring out what they're not understanding and helping them see. So maybe you give that away. You hire an associate like Scott just did, right? You have to decide which things to get these hats off your head. This one's smoking cigars, but I'm going to leave that one on. But other ones you might not want. So think about it though. Think about for you, what are the things? So notes, this is interesting. So what we did is, because I hate notes too, but what we did was we hired a therapy, we call them a therapy assistant, and they're like exercise physiology people, and you can find them. There's no jobs for them. We got like 200 applicants for that, and we call it therapy assistant. And what do? They do the balance, they do the ProSoft. Well, I also have them help the doctors put their notes in, and they love it. They feel all important, right? And and the doctor's telling them they're, and I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to put that note in. I can tell them they can do it, and then you can read it. Delegating away. So all I have to do is double check that it's right if I do one, and then you just sign off. Easy. What did that just do? Took a huge weight. How many of you said notes? Yeah, what are you waiting for? Delegate that. But if you didn't know you could, or you didn't know how, or you didn't know why, then you won't do it. And the next time I see you, you're going to say the same thing. I need to delegate more. And then I'm going to be, you didn't listen. Like, we got to get it down, what you want to get rid of, what you want to keep, and then figure out how you're going to do it. And if you don't know, just ask, because somebody in here probably has already done it. My hope was that you could see, like, stacking these hats on your head. It's a heavy burden. It's a heavy burden, and it burns you out. And you feel tired, overwhelmed, busy, and fatigued. And you're chained to your practice, and you start to get bitter about your practice because you're angry. How do I know that? Because I did that already. I mean, I remember the days when people would come in and I'd be like, son of a bitch, why is this person coming in? Don't they know I need to go home? And now I got to listen to this old lady complain and bitch about all her stuff, and I would be getting mad about it. And then I realized, man, I got a problem. This is a problem. I should be happy that somebody's coming in, thankful and grateful that they're here. And they're sent here, I believe, for a reason. It's not just luck and chance. They're coming into my influence of circle, because I'm going to make a difference in their life. And they were sent here. So I got to make sure I do it right. Doing it right doesn't mean I have to do it. Doing it right means I need to have the delegation and the systems in place so that we can get the product there, so that they get the results. We make the impact. We change their lives. But it doesn't have to be me doing all of the pieces of it. We can bring others in to help, and then that lowers the burden when you only got a couple hats on your head and you don't have a stack that's hitting the ceiling. How many of you feel like you got a stack that's hitting the ceiling? I know. So let's think about what ones you love so much, and let's make a list. And make a list of the things that you want to get rid of, that you don't like to do. And let's think about, who can I give this to? And if you don't have somebody, you might have to hire somebody like Scott did. We're hiring people all the time, for these different positions. And a lot of them are super excited about it. I can't believe the number of the exercise physiologists that we've hired who are super excited to do ProSoft on people. It's so fun. And the girls get so excited when they see like a big change in a person's range of motion because we measure before and after. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, you just got a 3-inch improvement on your shoulder test. And everybody's like, yay, yay. And I'm peeking around the corner going, I'm not even here. But that is, I'm making that happen by being smart, because my role is not just in the doing of that stuff. My role is in the management of the whole thing to make sure it happens. And that's the CEO mindset. That's the CEO program. That's what every one of us needs, times 10. It's every chiropractor I've ever met needs it bad. The students don't even know it exists. Everybody thinks it's just about learning a technique, and then all this stuff just kind of falls into place. And it's actually the opposite. It's the opposite. But they just don't know yet. I would rather have people figure it out, not having to learn it the hard way, but let's get everybody figuring out from the hard way that we've gone through, right? So we can have them not have to step in the same pothole. And then they're like, oh, geez, I should have done this. And you go, yeah, I knew. And then you're like, why didn't you tell me, right? So think about that, write it down. And when you say delegate, let's tell me what you're gonna delegate. That would be interesting. What are you gonna delegate to who and by when and by how, and what's the system gonna be in place to make sure that whatever you delegate actually gets done and completed properly? And that's not always easy, but remember, you should be the creator of systems to make the things happen, as your role in CEO is creator of systems. Like, I think this to myself all the time. My job, my 12 hours or whatever it is I'm gonna do, my job is to create efficient and effective systems, train the staff, get them effective at what they do, so that my process can impact not just the people I can put my hands on, but tenfold of that, because I have others actually being able to do that as well. And then that takes the burden off, and it lets you get back into that 50,000 foot viewpoint of what's going on, so that you can actually see how to improve, see what lanes to add in. It's not like you're just sitting around. So people ask me, oh yeah, so you didn't go to work, you half the year you took off. Well, what do you mean by took off? You think I ever take any time off up here? No, because it's purpose. There's no time off for purpose of helping others. And you're in a field where you're helping others. So if you think you're sitting around doing nothing, when I'm even sitting with Mo, smoking a cigar, what do you think we're talking about? This stuff. So you're always working, because it ain't work when you love it. And when you're helping others, it's just fun. And you're helping people have a better quality of life. And that's really what we're doing, raising it up. But we need to get you guys raised up too, so that Scott's got 10 associates over there and 10 therapy people, and they're all running and killing it. Then what's your impact? What's Scott's impact on this planet? It's tenfold what it could have been if it was just him. Woo! So now we're just getting in a little purpose stuff, but it's because that's why you do what you do. If you just were here to make money, sorry, you're an idiot. No one goes into chiropractic to make money unless you're the stupidest person on the planet, because that's not where the money's at. If you go in, and it's so funny because the population says that all the time. Like, I have patients, oh, you guys are just trying to get more money. I'm like, do you think I'm a complete fool? There ain't no money in chiropractic. It's the most discriminated medical profession there is on the planet. Everybody just rapes and pillages us, cuts our fees. We actually make less from Blue Cross than we did when I started 26 years ago. We make less today. So what are you talking about? If I wanted to make money, I would have went and sold drugs. The guy in my neighborhood, he's got a giant house. He makes all kinds of money, and all he does is show up at the MD's offices with free lunches, throwing out all these gifts, talking about, here's the new drug you do. Everybody loves him, and he just goes home. And he's making like $600,000 to $700,000 a year. That's what you do if you just go into it for money. Not this. Nobody does it for this. And I tell patients that. I go, listen, you got it all wrong. You got it backwards. Here's how this works. That's where the money's at. So if that's what you care about, you should go back to school and be a drug rep. Because they are crushing it. Man, they're crushing it. And all you got to do is walk around and be friendly. We got to wear 100 hats on our head until we get it figured out. We have to get discriminated against and messed with by every person, right? It's a hard road that we're on. But we're helping a ton of people, and when you get the miracles, it's an awesome thing, and it's exciting, and it's fun, and you're in it for a reason. We're in it to win it, and we're going to do everything we can to bring this profession up to a whole new level, but to bring your quality of life up to a higher level too, by getting some of these hats off your head, by bringing other people in to give them a purpose in what they do. I can't tell you how many of my staff, I just had a girl come up to me, and she's like, I'm so thankful for this job. I'm like, she goes, it's the first job I've ever had that has a purpose. So that's right, honey. Go get some new ones. They're out there. Go get them. She's like, okay. But it's more than that, right? We're just out here trying to help the people, and we want to make it so that it's fun, it's effective, and I love sitting around talking to everybody about all the different things we can do. Whether we're drinking a bourbon, smoking a cigar, doing whatever we're doing, we're still talking about this stuff. So nobody's just sitting around for weeks like people say. I've wrote a couple books. If you haven't got one, I brought a few copies. If you need one, I can give you one. We send them to our new patients before they even come in. The people who read it, which is not all of them, but the people who do read it, man, they're an easy close because they already got some understanding in their head. And then it's smoother and easier. And I don't know about you, but I want smooth and easy. It's more fun. It's more fun. Makes it more enjoyable. So nobody's just sitting around. If that's what you're thinking and if that's what you're doing in your time, you might want to write down more of the stuff that you could be doing and try to figure that out, because there's a lot of things you probably could be doing that would be fun for you. Like, wouldn't you do it if it was fun? Yeah, so we just got to get you doing the fun stuff, push the delegation of all the things you really don't like to do, and then you just fasten your seatbelt and get ready to make a very impactful impact with your life and to have way more fun doing it. Who's all in for that? Yeah. All right, guys, let's do it.
Thank you, Michael. Good job, man. Nice hat stack you got there, Michael. All right, let's give Michael another round of applause. Thank you.